Good afternoon, everyone. So, my assigned topic or nation to the comparative economic planning is the developing nation of Gaza Strip. So, Gaza Strip is located in the Middle East. The Gaza Strip, or simply Gaza, is a self-governing Palestinian territory on the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea. It borders Egypt on the southwest for 11 kilometers and Israel on the east and north along a 51-kilometer border. Gaza and the West Bank are claimed by the sovereign state of Palestine. The territories of Gaza and the West Bank are separated from each other by Israeli territory. Both fell under the jurisdiction of the Palestinian Authority, but the Strip has, since the Battle of Gaza in June 2007, governed by Hamas, a Palestinian fundamentalist militant Islamic organization, which came to the power in the last held election in 2006. It has been placed under the Israeli and the US-led international economic and political boycott from the time onward. The territory is 41 kilometers long from 6 to 12 kilometers wide and has total area of 365 square kilometers with around 1.8 million Palestinians on some populated in the world. An extensive Israel buffer zone with a strip render much land of limits of Gaza's Palestinians. Gaza has an annual population growth rate about 2.9 of 2014, the 13th highest in the world, and is often referred to as overcrowded. The population is expected to increase to 2.1 million in 2019. In 2012, the United Nations country team, the occupied Palestinian territory, warned that the Gaza Strip might not be a livable place by 2020. And as of 2020, Gaza suffers shortage of water, medicine, and power, a situation exa- exa- exacerbated by the coronavirus crisis, according to Al Jazeera. 19 human rights groups urge Israel to lift its siege on Gaza. The United Nations has also urged the lifting of the blockade, while a report by UNCTAD prepared for the UN General Assembly and released on 25 November 2020 said that Gaza's economy was the verge of collapse and that it was essentially blockade. Due to the Israeli and Egyptian border closure and the Israeli sea and air block, the population is not free to leave or enter the Gaza Strip, nor it is allowed to freely import or export goods. Sunni Muslims makes up the predominant part of the Palestinian population in the Gaza Strip. The economy of the Gaza Strip is severely harmed by Egypt and Israel's almost total blocking. Population, the high population density, limited and land access, strict internal and external security control, the effect of Israeli military operation, and restriction on the labor and trade access across the board. The per capita income was estimated at 3,100 US dollar in 2009, a position of 164 in the world. 70% of the population is below the poverty line according to a 2009 estimate. Gaza Strip industries are generally small family business, product, textiles, soap, olive wood, things, and other of soil. The main agricultural products are olives, citrus, vegetable, halal beef, and dairy products. Primary export are citrus and cut flowers, while primary imports are food, consumer goods, and construction materials. The main trade partners of Gaza Strip are Israel and Egypt. The EU described the Gaza economy as follows. Since Hamas took control of Gaza in 2007 and the following the closure imposed by Israel, the situation in the Strip has been one of the need, development, and donor dependency. Despite a temporary relaxation, restriction in movement of people and goods following in 2010. The closure has effective cut access for export to traditional markets, and Israel transferred to the West Bank and has severely restricted imports. Export are now down to 2% of 2007 level. Economic output in Gaza Strip declined by about one-third between 1992 and 1996. This downturn was attributed to Israeli closure policies and, to a lesser extent, corruption and mismanagement by Yasser Arafat. Economic development has been hindered by Israel refusing to allow the operation of a sea harbor. A seaport was planned to be built in Gaza, which France and the Netherlands. But the project was bombed by Israel in 2001. Israel said that the reason for bombing was the Israeli settlements were being shot at from the construction site at the harbor. As a result, international transport aid had to go through Israel, which was hindered by the position of legalized border closures. These are disrupted previously established labor and commodity market relationship between Israel and the States. A serious negative social effect of this downturn was the emergence of high unemployment. For energy, Gaza is largely dependent on Israel either for import of electricity or fuel. For its sole power plant, the Oslo Accords set limits for the Palestinian action and importation of energy pursuant to the accords. The Israel electricity option exclusively supplies electricity about 60% of the total consumption in 2013. The amount of electricity has consistently been limited to 120 megawatts, which is the hope to sell the sa pursuant the Oslo Accords. While use of comprehensive closure decreased over the next few years, this change led to 3 years of economic recovery in Gaza, disrupted by the outbreak of the Al-Aqsa Intifada in the last quarter of 2000, before the second Palestinian uprising in September 2000. Around 25,000 from the trip, about 2% of the population on a daily basis. For the current budget, most of the Gaza Strip administration funding comes from outside as an aid, with a large portion delivered by UN organizations, the relief, education, and food supply. Most of Gaza GDP comes as foreign and direct economic support. Of those funds, the major part is supported by US and the European Union. Portions of direct economic support have been provided by the Arab League. Now according to the schedule. Among other aligned source as administration budget is Iran. Diplomatic source told Reuters that Iran had funded Hamas in the past up to 300 a year, but the flow of money had not been regular in 2011. Payment has been in suspension since August, said the source. In January 2012, some diplomatic source said that Turkey promised to provide the Gaza Strip administration with $300 million to support its annual budget. In April 2012, the government in Gaza approved its budget for 2012, which was up 25% year-on-year over 2011 budget, indicating benefactors in the Islamic Christian expatriates are still heavily funding the movement. Chief of Gaza's parliament's budget committee General Nazar said that 2012 budget is $769 million compared to $630 million in 2021. For the conclusion, building resilience in a part of Palestine is challenging, but problems are compounded in Gaza Strip, where internal Palestinian division, conflict between Hamas and Israel, and the Crimean blockade have created a dire humanitarian situation. Ultimately, tackling this root problem through the diplomatic action and sustained advocacy is the only route to lasting development gained in Gaza. In the meantime, however, development and humanitarian activities must be more closely linked to ensure lasting transformation, and a strategy must be devised for focusing investment where it can be best utilized.